Hi there, I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com, and this is my Smart American Accent training. In this video, we'll look at how to pronounce combine and combination, and we'll cover a number of other words. Check out the description and the first comment to see where your word is in the timestamp. So first of all, the word combine, the verb, and combination have different stress patterns, and so the vowel sounds are different in these two words. When we look at combine, we have stress on the syllable with the letter I, and I says I like in night or light. So it sounds like combine. I'll respell the I with IGH like we spell it in right or night. And notice how even though we have COM, the first syllable is very reduced. You might see a little schwa there, like a sound, but we basically go from the k to the combine. So this is short and reduced, and then our clear vowel is in our stress syllable, combine. You can use that in a few phrases to make it feel natural. If you have a tendency to be too even on the syllables or use a clear vowel here, you can try starting on the stress syllable. That sounds like bine, combine. Then try adding a few words. Combine it, I can combine those, let's combine them, etc. Just to get that patterning and that rhythm and that correct pronunciation moving into phrases and into your everyday fluent speech. Then when it comes to combination, we have some secondary stress on the first syllable. So we do have a clear vowel now, even though it's not the main stress, and the A syllable is the main stress. So in words with shun at the end, we always stress the syllable before the shun. Organization, communication, definition, all of those are stressed in the penultimate or second to last syllable. It's no different here in combination. So you might want to build again from that stress syllable, like nation, bination, combination. It does have secondary stress on the com syllable, so it's a long enough word to have two stress places. That just means that we're going to have a clear vowel for com instead of our reduced cum, like in combine. So here we have the com with the a vowel, b, and then our stressed na, shun. And you can think of this shun as having a little sound like the word shun, but it's also very reduced schwa. So I'm going to go quickly from the sh to the n, shun, combination. Same thing you want to you tried with combine, do with combination. It's a combination of things. That's a good combination. I don't know the combination. Yes, so there's a couple of differences. One thing I will point out is that combine can also be a noun. So this is for the verb, as in combine two objects, bring them together. The noun is a type of farm equipment called a combine, and the stress changes to the first syllable, and then we have the clear vowel, like we do in combination, because we're stressing on com. We keep the clear vowel in the second syllable, but now it's shorter. So for the noun, combine. He drove a combine in the field. He drove a combine, and we combine multiple tools. So you can see that contrast. Okay, great. So also in this video, we're going to cover a few additional words. There's many words on my list from frequent requests or from recent requests. So thank you for those of you who have left comments and questions. I'm always happy to cover your topics. And typically on Saturdays, we have a live class. This Saturday, we're having a pre-recorded class, but we'll be back in a couple of weeks with our live Saturday class as well. And you can attend that. Type your questions in the chat. So another question we had recently was for the word regimented. Another longer word. This one has first syllable stress. So we have the clear vowel, like in regular or red. The letter G says the j sound in this word, reg. So you can think about it like a J if that's helpful for you. And actually I'll write the first vowel as re, j, So now our letter I is unstressed, a reduced I sound. Regimented. And then we have an eh sound again. Our T is going to be a flap. And our ed is going to say id in this word. Letters ed will say id when they're after a T or a D, like wanted, needed, or regimented. So regimented. You will notice sometimes words that have NT, people will drop the T and they might say this more like regimented. So that's also an option. I would say with past tense TED, like wanted, you'll hear the T often as well. So it's okay to say regimented if that's easier for you. Just don't give it too much stress. Regimented or regimented. More common places for us to drop the T are in words like interview or internet or international, where the NT is in unstressed syllables in the middle of the word. So that was a good request. Thank you for that. And then we have a question about dysgraphia. So that's a challenge with an inability to write. Disgraphia. So we have second syllable stress. Letter A says ah, just like in black or in the word graph. The word graph is within this word. I'll write that like graph with an F. PH says F in this word and other words like phone or phobia. The dis syllable is going to be short and unstressed. It'll still have that I vowel, but it'll be a reduced I. Disgraphia. And then what you'll notice is that between the E and the in dysgraphia, we have a common practice of linking those two vowels together. So I don't make a break, graph with a hard stop. I link them together and I'll naturally have a little y sound that happens as I link. Dysgraphia, You won't see it in the IPA. If it were in like yes or yellow, the IPA is a letter J for this y sound. But it'll naturally happen as you move from that front high E to the central sound, dysgraphia. You can start on the stress syllable again if that's helpful. Graphia, dysgraphia. Okay, next we're going to look at the word presentee and presentism. Presentism, rhythm there. So if we have in presentee, we stress on the E, not presentee, but presentee. So we have secondary stress here. So we have zin, T, main stress on the T, so we have a true T there. So that sounds like presentee. That's the person who receives is being presented. And then for presentism, we have first syllable stress. Again, the sound, presentee and presentism, first syllable stress. So presentism and presentee. Great. Okay, and then we had a request for the word floatovoltaics. So let me just double check that it's voltaics. Floatovoltaics. Not a simple pronunciation, but we stress on the te syllable. It has the a diphthong, and then we have the ix sound. The C says K. We have the lax I sound there. Floatovoltaics. This is just like float, except for as we're linking to the O, then we have, I would say, I'll write it this way, like flow. The T becomes a flap because it links to the next syllable. So we say it more like a light D in American English, floato. You could say floatovoltaics, and that would be okay as well. But more naturally and fluently for American English would be to use a flap here. Floatovoltaics, floato. So this O is very reduced. It can even be more of an like floatovoltaics. I'm going to use an O there, but just don't give it a lot of length and clarity. So floatovoltaics. So I think breaking that one down syllable by syllable is the best way to get comfortable with it. You can also build it from the back, do some backwards chaining. That would sound like taics, voltaics, dovoltaics, floatovoltaics. So you hear how the floatovol goes by pretty quickly, and that's a little bit hard because we do have clear vowels on all of those. And that may be why this word was requested, that it's not super easy to say fluently and naturally, because we don't really reduce those clear vowels in those unstressed syllables for this particular word. Okay, thank you for that request. And then lastly, I want to do the words accede and accede, and talk about their pronunciation and meaning. So we have first of all, for accede, in meaning to go over or to go beyond, spelling E-X-C-E-D-E, or C-E-E-D. Sorry. We have second syllable stress, so letters E-X are going to say the ick and sound, ix, and I'll put the S on the second syllable, just like the word seed. So you might want to start with a stressed seed and then add your ick. Seed, exceed, exceed. You might hear people saying a little bit of an S on there, exceed, exceeded, if they're just saying the word. Typically in connected fluent speech, this letter E is going to be a very reduced short I sound. It exceeded expectations. We can't exceed the limit. And then we have the word accede, which does have the C-E-D-E spelling, to accept or allow, has two pronunciations. So it can be pronounced with the A in the first unstressed syllable and then the seed. And it also can be pronounced the exact same way as exceed with the ick seed. So we can say he acceded to the request, I accede, or I accede, I exceed. It's still going to be stressed on the seed, in which case it's just going to sound very similar to this, but using a clear A vowel like in cat. Still going to be short though, exceed, I exceed. So a little bit tricky because in one version of exceed, it's the same as exceed, and another it's exceed with an A. But both are stressed on the second syllable, both have the same clear vowel and clear pronunciation of that second syllable. This one also just being aware of how to spell them, which one is which, and how to use them is useful. And of course, even native speakers can be challenged by spelling sometimes. I myself am as well, as you saw at the beginning when I was writing exceed with the incorrect spelling of the seed syllable. Thanks so much for joining me on this class. Feel free to leave your requests in a comment on this video or any of my videos. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll be back soon with our Saturday live question and answer class where you can ask your questions live in the chat and I'll answer them for you regarding pronunciation, intonation, whatever you'll find helpful in improving your overall fluent speaking in English. Check out the other videos on our channel, and you can also get help for the fundamentals in our Sounds of English course on speechmodification.com. I hope you'll check it out. Thanks so much for supporting the channel by commenting, liking, and joining as channel members and subscribing. I appreciate your support. I'm Christine Dunbar from speechmodification.com. Remember, if you want to sound like a native speaker, you can do it. speechmodification.com. Bye, everyone. Hope to see you again soon.